I got pregnant in 2024, fast track to when I was 17 weeks. I was admitted into the hospital. I had a generating fibroid, I had subchorionic hematoma, and I had kidney stone. Fast track to 34 weeks, going to 35 weeks. I started having Braskin Hill's contraction. It was intense. My water broke, and by 2:45 p.m., I had already delivered my baby at 34 weeks and 5 days. The next day I was discharged. My baby was not discharged, and that was the beginning of my journey. Baby was on oxygen for 8 days. Seeing my baby in such states, like, it broke my heart. I remember at the time my husband had said in 3 days my baby would actually be off that oxygen. In 3 days, my baby was off the oxygen, but we were still in the NICU. After that 6 a.m. check, going back again by 12, they told me I can start feeding my baby breast milk. Hey, I was so excited. I can remember I rushed down. I had some breast milk stored. I rushed down to get my baby's milk. Oh Jesus, I thank you. Hi everyone, welcome to my space. I'm here basically to share a testimony about my life. My son is actually a very lengthy one, so I hope you stick around and listen. So I got pregnant in 2024, sometime around November, December, I guess. And at the beginning, it was a very interesting pregnancy. No issues, no morning sickness, no vomiting, and all of that. It was cool. Everything was going well. But I had like some other thing with smell and all of that. I couldn't stand perfume. I couldn't stand some certain kind of food being cooked around me. All right, but I wasn't having like the normal morning sickness and all of that. So fast track to when I was 16 weeks or for 17 weeks, somewhere around there, I felt ill. I was at the hospital. I was admitted into the hospital, and that was when I I was diagnosed of subchorionic hematoma, kidney stone. Subchorionic hematoma basically means, or it has to do with like a blood clot somewhere around between the placenta and the baby, something like that, right? So it it happened, right? And I think I was told it was as a result of maybe a trauma or something, and I actually couldn't remember hitting my tummy anywhere or falling or anything whatnot, right? But that was it. So I was advised to be on bed rest, and they didn't know, like, I wasn't told how long the bed rest was going to last, but I was just advised to just be on bed rest. Also because it was my first pregnancy and a whole lot. So they're like I should just chill. Aside that, I also had degenerating fibroid. So prior to getting pregnant, I have never been told that I had fibroid, right? I had degenerating fibroid, I had subchorionic hematoma, and I had kidney stone. So I started treatment. I started treatment for both the subchorionic hematoma and the kidney stone. I started treatments. God being so faithful. I think I passed out one of the stones from my kidneys, and yeah, that was a miracle though, because I know I was praying to God at the time, and because I was also taking my medications, right? And everything worked out well for good. So while at that, I was still on bed rest. I had to stop working for a while. In short, all through my pregnancy, I didn't work. So fast track to somewhere around 34 weeks, going to 35 weeks, I started having Braskin Hill's contraction. So most pregnant women knows what Braxton Hill's contraction means. Like is it forced labor or a fake contraction, something like that. Instead of like some days before, but I was still like, oh, I was still, what's the word? I was still managing it on my own until when I was 34 weeks and 5 days, approximately 35 weeks. I It was intense, right? And I think my water broke. I remember I was sleeping at the time, and then I woke up. I realized that the bed was wet. At the time, I felt, oh, maybe I peed on myself or something. But I woke up. I woke my husband up, and it turned out I wasn't actually pee. Like I literally was standing. Oh, sorry, I was sitting, and then like it just busted again. So we rushed to the hospital, and that was when I was told that it was Braskin Hill's contraction again. And I was what's the word? I was checked, and they said I was just 2 cm dilated. They gave me they gave me an injection. I wasn't so sure what the injection was supposed to do. Maybe it's to help with the contraction or to help with the pain. I really don't know, but it wasn't helping. Like nothing. It seems like the contraction was coming, like it was coming. So at the time, the I was asked to go do a scan to check if my fluid was enough to carry my baby. So after the scan and everything, I came back to the doctor, and the contraction was so intense even before going for the scan. So I came back to the doctor, and I was wheeled back actually, not like I walked, and it was so much that I from nowhere I just screamed, I want to pull. So one of the male nurse had like told me to sit back on the bed, and he just like he just opened my legs, and I was crowning. My baby's head was already out. So I was from 2 cm in the space of, I think in the space of 2 hours, or yeah, I think 2 hours ish, somewhere around there. I'd gotten to 8 cm. My baby was already out. So I remember being wheeled, like the guy literally wanted to deliver my baby in the doctor's office, but the doctor was like, no, 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 take her to the theater. So I managed to calm down, and to come down from the bed actually, and then I was taken to the theater. I got to the theater 2:25 p.m. on the 2nd of July 2025, and by 2:45 p.m. I had already delivered my baby at 34 weeks and 5 days. Yeah, my baby came out crying very loud. He cried like very, very loud. So I remember the matron at the time was saying that she had told me that um if I shouldn't say that I experienced labor because it was so fast. And that was my first testimony, because I'm grateful to God, because I think after I'd given birth, I watched some other women how they had preemie babies, and like in my I heard worst stories, like stories worse than mine, and all I could say was, I thank you, Jesus. So I remember the matron saying that I shouldn't say that I experienced labor, because before they could even do anything, my baby was already like, before she could say push, I think the second time, because she asked me to push the first time, and she was like, it's as if this one did not attend antenatal class, because I'm like, I'm trying my best. So when she asked me to push the second time, so I remembered how they do push in movies. So I just had to position myself, and I pushed, and I just pushed my baby out. Yeah, I pushed my baby out. I had um what's the word, episiotomy or something. I really can't remember. But which is, I had a tear, right? My baby, I had given me a tear because I didn't. I just pushed my baby out. I did not want to know whether I didn't want them to guide me in it. I just wanted my baby to come out. Right. So after that, I felt like, oh, okay. The next day I was discharged actually. And I thought I was going to carry my baby home, right? Because my baby was taken to the NICU, and I don't know, like I didn't know that there was anything wrong with him because he came out, he cried. So even the nurses at the time didn't even know that he was a preemie. So the next day, no, not the next day. So that same day, later in the evening, I had gone to see my baby because I was called to come and like check my baby and all of that. I went and I saw my baby. I was like, okay. My baby was in the oxygen. So I was like, okay, all right. Maybe the next day we'll all go together. But unfortunately, the next day I was discharged. My baby was not discharged. And that was the beginning of my journey. Hmm. So I remember I thought it was something that wouldn't take so much time in the hospital, but it took it took us days. I think about 12 days. And another testimony is this. I really thank God that I didn't get to spend longer days in the hospital because I know people that spent 2 months in the hospital, 28 days in the hospital, and I spent 12 days in the hospital. So my baby had respiratory distress, he had jaundice. So we're basically trying to get, because he was not fully formed, his lungs were not fully formed. So they're like, we wouldn't take him out until they see that he's safe and sound to leave the hospital. So my baby was on oxygen for 8 days, and he was incubated, like he was in the incubator. So I remember one of the days because I was like, listen, it's taking so much time. I needed to go home. So I remember one of the days I was actually very, very, like I was overwhelmed with the whole thing. And I had just prayed. Like I prayed a very, like I think that was first Sunday in July, yes. And because I wasn't even feeding my baby. Like my baby was not even taking breast milk. He was not feeding nothing. He was just on normal saline and whatever drugs that they were giving to him all the while. So I remember the first Sunday in July, I was streaming streams of joy first service, and I went to the what's the word? I went to the NICU door. That was where I was praying. And like I didn't even mind who was passing. I did not mind what was even happening around me. I was just praying because seeing my baby in such states, like it broke my heart. It's literally not what every mom, especially a new mom, should even experience, right? It broke my heart really bad. I went there, I was praying, I was decreeing, I was declaring. And I remember at the time my husband had said in 3 days my baby would actually be off that oxygen. And also, I remember when Pastor Jerry also said, in 3 days, we'll carry out evidence or we'll carry out testimony. So the testimony was that in 3 days, Mary was off the oxygen, but we were still in the NICU. So they were supposed to run a test, right, to check, I think, his PCV and one other thing. So the other things looked good, but his PCV, I remember the lab guy was like, he can't release the PCV to me. And I was like, why? He said the result is bad. And I said, how bad? He said it's very bad. So ideally, they said children's PCV is usually like 30% to 35%. That's like an average, like a good mark, right? But he said what he was saying was 13%. Hmm. I had to ask him, like, what is it? Like, what's the result? Is it that bad? He said it's really bad. I was like, what's the percentage? He said, I asked him what's the average. He said 30 to 35. I said, what are you saying? He said he's saying 13%. I was like, no way. He said we have to review the tests to be sure. He doesn't want to give the doctors that particular one so that they don't start asking for blood transfusion. So I took the container, I went to the doctor. I told the doctor to please. The doctor was just turning me up and down. Like he was like he can't do it because getting blood out of children is usually very stressful, which I understand. So he was like he can't, like he was just delaying basically. Like even one of the matron available at the time even had to take me to him to plead, and he was still so adamant about it. But later on, he was like, he thinks his PCV is bad. No, a colleague of his said, seems like the PCV is bad, right? That's why they can't release the results. So he was like, exactly, that they should bring the result like that. So I was like, no, that please, he should help me. The guy was still feeling adamant. I was so upset and I was so sad. I remember going to my room that time and I prayed to God. Like I willed, I prayed. I prayed in the language I could express myself to God. I wasn't even trying to speak too much English. Like, I think that was the time I knew that I just had to pray and express myself to God. And I did. And after that, I, few minutes after that, I was called to come and take the blood sample. The doctor called me and he said, well, I was there while he was trying to take out the blood, and he was like, I can see now that getting the blood is very difficult. I said, I understand, and I'm really, really grateful for what he's doing. So after I was able to get a certain amount of blood, I took it to the lab and they had to run another test. So later that evening, I had wanted to, like, because we usually go to the NICU every 3 hours to check on our babies. So that evening, I had gone. That this thing was happening like in the afternoon. In the evening, I had gone to check on him again. And as I was on entering the NICU, the system was like the system where they send the results. So it was his tab was open, right? I mean, I opened the door. All I saw was my baby's name, and I saw his PCB 32%, and I was so happy. Like I was so very happy. I don't know, like there was this joy inside of me. And I said, thank God. So there was no need for blood transfusion. So that one had passed. So I think the next day after this event, I was listening to um, a podcast on YouTube, The Shining Lights. And I think the host is Flourish. Yeah, that's her name. So she was um the guest for that day was Joy Oyedepo. And Joy Oyedepo was sharing some experience that she encountered while she was looking for the fruit of the womb, right? And there was something she said that really stood out, and I practiced. I had to put it into practice. She said, there is a name greater than every other name, and that name is Jesus. Every name bows to the name of Jesus. So she said, whatever the situation is, table it before God and notes that there is a name greater than. I think they had given her a name for her condition at the time, and she said she had gone to David Papa Oyedepo, and Papa Oyedepo was not even like he was not moved, like he was not moved because she said after everything when she had gotten pregnant, her father she had spoken to her father about something, and her father said he knows that she was going to deliver it, she was going to have her children, so he was not bothered. So she said that she had tabled the matter before God. But what she did was she brought a chair. One of the days she brought a chair. She put the chair before her. She sat down too, and she was talking to God. So I had to do that with a leap of faith. So I said I was going to do that. So one midnight when I had gone to check my baby, after I was done, I came down because I was not feeding my. Like, imagine other mothers were going there to feed their baby and check up on their baby, right? Me, I was not even feeding my baby. So I was literally just expressing milk from my breast and just like storing it. Sometimes I'll just throw it away because they were much. So um I remember that midnight I had come back from the NICU, and I kept a chair before me and I sat on one. And I was just talking to God. And I was like, I said a lot. There's some things I can't even remember. But I know what I was saying at the time was, God, I just need you to take us out of here. You already said in your word that children are heritage of the Lord, the fruit of the womb is the reward. I don't know your plans and purpose, but God, please show me mercy. This is it. This is what I want. I want my baby to be out of here in no distant time. I said quite a number of things to God. But before that, I remember also telling him that I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to him for this baby. And need I say also that my baby is a very beautiful boy. Like when I saw him, I couldn't even believe I was the one that gave birth to that guy. So I remember I was telling God at the time that this guy is too beautiful to be going through all this thing at this age. He was barely like those were his first few days on earth, and those were the things he was facing. So after I'd done that, I I kept the chair back and I went to bed. So the next morning, I think no, not the next morning, 6 a.m. checks, right? I had gone back again to see my baby. And I remember one of the nurses saying that. She was just saying it just in the air. She was talking I think okay, no, the doctors were having their morning rounds, or what they call it. I remember her telling one of the doctors that I think this baby can start breathing on his own. So like I heard it in the passing, and I had to stand for a while to be sure of who she was talking to. So the doctor was like, who? Like baby Chukwudi. He said yes. She said yes, baby Chukwudi. Baby Chukwudi can start breathing on his own. Like his respiration or respiratory, whatever, is okay. Oh my god. That day I went downstairs and I cried. I cried. It's tears of thanksgiving, right? Because I was literally, I don't know, but it is not just a good sight seeing your baby on oxygen. It is not a good sight. So I remember I had cried the prayer of thanks. Um, I had, I had like tears of joy in my heart that day. I cried and I said, God, I thank you. God, I thank you. So when after that day, after that 6 a.m. checks, I going back again by 12. They told me I can start feeding my baby breast milk. Hey, I was so excited. Like I had to. I can remember I rushed down. I had some breast milk stored. I rushed down to get my baby's milk. Oh Jesus, I thank you. My God. So I remember I had rushed down to get my baby's milk. I was so excited. Like I was running like a child. And I got the milk. I tried to feed. Okay, even before I was there feeding him, one of the days, no, okay, no. So I went down, I got the milk. I fed him once. I fed him, I think about 5 meal or so of 2.5 meal. It was good. So the next visit again, I'd given him milk, but he started aspirating, like he was vomiting. And they're like, I had not even given him the food, and he was already aspirating. The nurses came, they suctioned him. They're like, nothing is in his throat or whatever. Nothing was coming out. That day, I thought I was even losing this boy again because then I was like, what is it again? Like, what is the problem again? They told me to leave, that they'll take care of him. I went downstairs again and I cried again. Oh, I cried. I remember when I came back, they told me, I remember I had called my boss at the time and I explained to her. She was like, I should just calm down. That they're praying for him and he'll be fine. And she just allowed the doctors to do what they need to do. They said she was going to come see me that day, which she did eventually. Right. And I think they told me I should stop feeding him again for a while. And I'm like, what is it? Like, what's happened? So I stopped feeding him. They said they just wanted to like observe him and all of that. So I stopped feeding him. Mm, Did probably that same day in the evening or so, that was the first time I was carrying my baby. That was like after how many days? I think the night, yeah, it was in the night. So because the nights, the nurses on duty that night, one of them came and said, "Carry this your baby first." Like she was like, I should have like a skin to skin contact with my baby. So she asked me to sit down. I sat down. She brought my baby, and I kept my baby inside of me, like, so that like we could share like skin to skin contact. That was the first time I was carrying my baby after how many days? After more than 7 days. And I was so emotional. Like I wanted to cry, but I remember that no, the nurse said I should not cry. Yeah, she said I should not cry because well, if I cry, like I'm passing the same feeling on to my baby. She just told me to just carry my baby so that my baby would feel, so that he will feel the mother and all of that. Like I don't know, there's this chemistry between mother and child at the time. So I did, and I was just praying. I was just praised, like I was just saying, God, I thank you. Just saying some word of exhortation. I was also praying for my baby, and I was telling him that he will come out strong. This, that. Basically, I was just declaring upon him, right, or declaring into his life, basically. So after that, after about an hour, she was like, okay, it's time for me to go. So I dropped my baby. Then the next day, they came. When I came, the matron, and the matron on duty at the time was like, I should. So I didn't feed him for like a day. Yeah, a day or two. Again, I didn't feed him. That I should bring breast milk again. So this time, I wasn't so excited like a baby that they give candy. I was like, okay, God, I beg, let this one be okay. So I brought the milk, and they said I should start feeding him, and I started feeding him. After feeding him, I tried to burp him. He burps. I left. I was giving my baby 2.5 mil, 2.5 mil, 2.5 mil. Later, they said, I think later, after some days, he started crying at night, or maybe after I'd finished feeding him. When I go, like when I leave the place, the next time I call, they'll be like, how many meals am I feeding my baby? I'm like, 2.5 mil. You guys said 2.5 mil. They're like, increase it to 5 mil. I beg, that this baby used to cry every time. So I increased it to 5 mil. Like he started eating well. He started eating more. Right? He started eating well. By this time, he was already off oxygen. Right? He started eating more. At every time, it's okay. Increase it to 7 mil. Give him 7 mil. Give him 5 mil. Give him 10 mil. So gradually, my baby started eating well. And after that, he became like he was okay. He was breathing on his own. He was out of the incubator. Now he was like on his own without any incubator. So they were now, I think what they were treating at the time again after that was the jaundice, right? They were using the phototherapy lights to treat the jaundice. So that one was like, it was okay. So all this one, my baby was not wearing clothes though. He was just wearing only diaper. So I said, like, we were increasing his dosage or his millage or his meal. We kept on increasing it. Like, okay, give him 10 meals, give him 12 meal, right? So gradually, we started increasing it. So my baby was now fit to like take about 15 to 20 meal. Right? At every 3 hours, he was fit to take 15 to 20 meal. So it was all this while my baby was not wearing clothes. I remember the day they said I should go get clothes for him. It was my mother-in-law that was attending to him at this particular time, and she came down. She was so excited. She was like, "Oh, they said we can now wear him clothes," and then we brought clothes and we wore him. Like, I know to some persons to be like, "Is it not just clothes?" Trust me. I think any mother that that he's or like any mother that has her baby in the NICU would understand what I'm saying. Like it's it's something that I don't know, but I feel like this thing is going to be so fresh in my head. And maybe that I'm also a first time mom and I'm experiencing this kind of like this weird or strange whatever thing, right? It feels so, I don't know, it just feels so unwelcoming, right? So we wore him the clothes. A day after wearing him the clothes, or 2 days after wearing him, getting him to start wearing clothes, I remember I'd gone to normal morning checks. I'd gone to check him. That was on the 12th day. And the matron was like, baby Chikodi is ready to go home. Oh my God, I was so happy. Like, I was very, very happy. Like, I don't even know. I also remember then my husband had even gone to church and he came back and he said, you guys are leaving here tomorrow. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is, like, not like I didn't trust what he said, right? But I'm like, whoa, it's the doctors that have the say. So fortunately, the matron said we were good to go home, like we have been discharged. And I was so happy, like I was very, very happy because staying in that hospital, it's not a good thing. It's not like it's not a good thing, but I don't know. It's not just, it's overwhelming. That's the word. It's overwhelming. But there was something I took out of it. Like the people around you really matters. In the midst of all these things, I was bothered. I was panicking. Sometimes I was panicking. But my husband was not panicking. Right? I think later on I asked him, why were you not even like, it didn't as if the thing was not even touching you. And he said, because he doesn't have to worry himself. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm the one like in front, I get to see the whole drama and everything. Maybe that's why I was panicking most of the time. But he was like, he's relaxed because he knows that his baby will be fine, right? So the people around you matters. I remember my boss too was somebody that stood like very, very, she was there from the contraction. She first knew my baby before I met my baby. And I remember telling her, what if they switch my baby? She said, like, they cannot switch my baby. She knows my baby. She knows the birthmark on my baby's body, right? So I just want to thank God for this amazing time because my baby is 1 today, right? And I've watched, like, we have seen him grown. At the time, there are times when we were even visiting the hospital like every week when we got discharged. Is either this week one thing is doing him or next week there's the way he's breathing. Like one thing was just doing him. But based off of it's my first time, I was always going to the hospital almost every week. Not really every week, but at least like every 2 weeks. Because I wanted to get doctors I just wanted him to be fine and all of that. So I just want to thank God for this moment and this privilege because I'm not the best of human here on earth. I'm just me basically. And I really want to glorify the name of God for this opportunity. My baby is 1 and I'm grateful to God. Like, I'm so grateful to God. And I just want to use this opportunity to also more like encourage anybody out there. If you find yourself in a situation, trust me, I get to panic a lot when I find myself in situations. But if you find yourself in some certain situation, I feel like we should just stay calm in the midst of the chaos. So the motherhood journey was not easy. It wasn't easy. Like, it was a whole lot. I remember not sleeping my sleep was, it was altered. I was cranky most of the time. Talking about postpartum depression, I did not know I was experiencing postpartum depression, because sometimes, I don't think anybody knows this, but sometimes I'm always very upset. My I will look at my baby and I'm like, you're stressing me because I can't sleep. I can't do some certain things. It was more like I was just limited to just taking care of my child. And it took a while for me to just tell myself, Rachel, this child is a ministry, so you just have to care for it. And I just had to accept it. And I I said, I had to talk myself out of it to an extent, because people around me they did not understand what I was going through. They did not understand it. So I had to talk myself out of it. There were times when I would just cry and just break down. Like, I just cry because I'm just overwhelmed with the whole situation. So that's it, basically. And I hope that this testimony encourages anybody out there. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to my long testimony. And I pray that the good Lord strengthens every mother out there desiring for the fruit of the womb. God will give you your own. God will give you, you will carry your own. Like the Bible says that we will not be barren, right? I think is where somewhere in Exodus or so. Right. So yeah, thank you so much.